Hello ladies and gentlemen, you join me on a road trip of sorts because I have taken my car and I have come out to, I'm quite near the Malvern Hills, I'm not too far away from the Malvern Hills, and I've come here to chase some skies. We are about 6:30, 7 o'clock-ish. I don't exactly know what the time is right now. I set off about 6:30, and there's some beautiful skies over here. And what I'm actually doing is I'm starting to put together a collection of skies that I've created myself. So recently I got the program Luminar. Now I don't know if you're aware of Luminar, but one of the things that it's really, really good at, I did mention it in a video earlier, one of the things it's really good at, quite apart from the fact that there's lots of cars around that they weren't about 5 minutes ago, one of the things it's really good at is the sky replacement. It's fantastic, and they give you some skies to go with that. But I didn't want to just rely on their own skies, because if you're going to be a proper photographer, you've really got to take proper pictures and in your own skies. And if you're going to do sky replacement, it's always just that little bit more legitimate if you're using your own skies to do it. So tonight, that's where I've come, and this is what I've found. There's the Malvern Hills in the background there, and I've actually got a really brilliant bank of cloud up there, and it looks like a really nice day. There's some lenticular clouds over in the background. I don't know if I can get those yet because they're coming right over the sun. So if I go along the road a little bit, I might actually be able to pull over and get those. But from the location I am at the moment, as noisy as it is, I can't actually pick those up. However, I have got a couple of shots, and I'll show you those to you in just a second. What you're seeing now is the sunset from a previous night. We've had some fantastic skies over the last few weeks, and taking them is a great excuse to break out the new camera. This sky, however, was shot whilst making the video, and I do love those little fluffy clouds, although it wasn't just the fluffy clouds that I was after on this trip. Now, I'm using the 18-55 lens today, not the one that I've been using on most of these Fuji outings. And the reason is that actually for landscape photography, for this kind of work, for these kind of skies, that gives you a pretty good focal range. Now, there's a gate just up there, and I think it's going to give me a view out onto a field. Obviously, very noisy here. We are on a main road, and I do prefer it if I can find easier locations to hit. Now that's quite nice. Let me just see if I can show that to you. Obviously the difficulty here is that the sun is right in front of me, so I'm just going to have to come off just to one side or the other. So first of all, so I don't get glare in the lens, because wouldn't you know, I've forgotten to bring the lens hood because I'm an idiot. And secondly, so that you can actually see some of the clouds in the background. So I'm going to try and take this shot now, and we'll see what we get. Here's the final image, and you can see where the sun was on the right hand side of the frame. But that's also introduced some really nice colours. You see the edge of the fluffy clouds from the previous shot as well. But I've a soft spot for those wispy skies, the sort that most of this photo is showing. That was actually really nice. I'm pretty pleased with that shot. Got some very wispy clouds, but of course I think the final shutter speed, because I've got it in aperture priority, so I set my aperture to f8, and my ISO is set at 160, which is the kind of the base level of the camera. Although it will do 80, it's probably best not to. 160 is fine. 160 is kind of what the camera's meant to be there for. With that, I was having a reading of about 2,200 as a shutter speed. That's okay. That's kind of what I was expecting, because you're literally pointing it just to one side of the sun. Now I can see some interesting cloud formations up ahead, and I'm wondering if maybe a little higher up, because we're surrounded by mountains here, well, hills here, I'm wondering if just a little higher up we're going to be able to see something that's really different. The idea here on tonight's shoot is to wind up somewhere where I can take some good photos of the sky around about the 8:30 mark, so I can just stay there and watch the changing sky as sunset happens and everything like that. Well, let's soldier on. And soldier on I did, getting a few more fluffy clouds into the bargain. But as I was making my way around the Cotswold countryside, disaster struck. Of all the stupid things, I've lost my lens cap. I got back to the car. I thought I had it in my pocket. I put my lens caps in the same pocket every single time. Not force of habit, it's because I have no imagination. And I thought it was in there. I genuinely did. Got back to the car, was going to put the cap on the lens, and it's disappeared, and I can't find it anywhere, which means that I may not have dropped it at this location, because to be honest, I can't remember whether or not I took it off to take these shots or not. So it's going well so far. Now we are, let me just turn the engine on a little bit, 7:30 right now, which means we've got another hour before the sunset starts, and another hour after that before it kind of ends, and then there's blue hour after that. I don't want to be out that late tonight because actually I'm quite tired, but I'm going to carry on down this country road. We're heading towards somewhere, Ledbury I think, and see what possibly we can get from the skies. There are some beautiful, beautiful clouds around tonight, and there's, I think, going to be an absolutely gorgeous sunset, but we just have to wait and see for that, as we always do. One of the things I would say about this, going with the 18-55, and the 18-55 is a kit lens, but on the Fuji cameras, that doesn't quite mean what you think it does, and this thing is absolutely fantastic. I've had some fantastic results just playing around with it. It's the lens I use to do the video bits to camera with, not these bits, but the bits where I'm chatting, the ones that I used to use my D7500 for. I'm now using the XT3 and this lens, and I'm really pleased with it. I think it looks stunning. I think it's sharp. It's everything that I'd want it to be for that sort of lens. However, it is something of it does kind of feel like a toy when you've got it all, on the camera. It's lovely. It'd be fantastic if you're doing street photography or something like that, I think, because it gives you that kind of classic camera styling, but you get all of the functionality of having a really, really good lens. So yeah, that's fun, and I'm enjoying using a lens, but it's quite small, and for somebody with fat fingers, it's a bit fiddly, which is obviously why I didn't put the lens cap on quite as tightly as I thought I had, and obviously why it's gone. But great lens, and if you didn't get one with your camera, because a lot of the times if you bought a kit, then it would have been in there probably with a 55-230 or maybe the 55-200, then it's a really great choice. Anyway, on with the show. I don't know that I'm going to take any actual normal skies now. I've seen the sort of clouds that we've got around. I don't know that things are changing that much. There's some nice cloud formations over that way, but they're quite a way over that way. So I'm going to keep going further, and we're going to wait for that light to change, wait for that sort of sunset light, and see what we get from that. And as the sun finally started to set, I pointed my lens to the sky, and I got these shots. It was a really lovely evening, but I still hadn't found a good vantage point to take photos. Sunset found me at the side of a much busier road, but with better views of a sky that looked incredibly promising. Well, I made it to sunset, and it's a stunning sky out there tonight. It really does look good. I've taken a couple of shots already. Now, something else that's happened in the interim is, despite the cars going past and all of that, I found the lens cap. It had obviously fallen off in the car and it got shoved down the back of the seat, and when I picked my hat up it was sat underneath it. So anyway, there's some really lovely sort of lenticular clouds going on over there. The sun incredibly bright right in front of me right now, but I think we're in a relatively good position to kind of take it. I've got to be a bit careful because, like I said, this is a fairly main road and I don't want to get killed basically just by doing this. But the great thing about all of this sort of photography, I'm just going to be a bit careful here, is that it's very, very simple to do. You basically just point your camera at the sky and you get a shot. It's that easy, and it doesn't matter that, you know, what the weather's like. Ooh, I've just seen some shots up there actually, and again, doesn't really matter. Now I'm doing this all one-handed at the moment, but I'm out at so what I plan to do with some of these, what I've just done there, is I've gone round taking various different bits of the sky, is so that I can stitch that together a little bit later on. So it's like creating a panorama. Big truck coming. But really, the reason that I wanted to stop here was because the colours in the sky are just perfect. They're the exact colours that I wanted to try and get on this trip. It's the right time of day for it and everything. And we're just in the right place, and I don't know if I go on any further whether I'd actually get a better place to stop. I mean, it's not ideal in any respect, but it is at least a place to attempt to stop. So, right, I'm going to take a few more pictures here, and I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll go into Lightroom and I'll show you how I edit these photos. We're going to do the whole thing one video, because I don't want to do just completely nothing but Lightroom and Photoshop training anymore. So we will try that. I can't get out the road any more than I'm out the road. I am obviously standing here like some idiot as cars go past me, just hoping that they don't hit me. But right, I'll see you over in Lightroom, because that'll probably be a little bit easier. But I'm going to wait here for this sun just to hit that point where we get some really nice colours in the sky. We're getting there. We're not too far off. I am taking my life in my hands for my photography. So you better watch to the end of this video, and you better subscribe, all right? So I wanted to use the end of this video to just show you what I'm doing, how I'm editing these images down. Now, I've got them as DNG files. That's not how they come out of the Fuji cameras, but I might show you what I'm doing with that. I'm using a transcoding thing to get them in as DNG files. And we're going to put them, we're not going to bother with Lightroom at all. I'm going to put them straight into Photoshop, which I much prefer using in this instance. And I'll show you exactly how I'm getting some good results with my photos. First of all, I'm going to choose a file, and I've got a bunch of files here I can just drag and drop into Photoshop. I think the one that I'm going to use is this one, which I have edited before actually, but we'll drag that in here, and that's going to open up in Camera Raw. Shouldn't take too long to do. There we go. And I'm not going to do anything much here at all, apart from choosing a particular profile. Now, in the Fuji cameras have these profiles with you, and if you click on Browse Profiles, you actually get a camera matching thing here, and you can choose between any of these different profiles. Well, that's very much a Fuji thing. I'm using Astra Soft here, but if you don't have that, you can get other profiles from other places. You can go to Adobe Raw, for example, and you'll actually get some other color profiles here that are going to help add a bit of color or a bit of tone into the image that you've got, or there are some artistic ones here that will add a different look and feel into your images. For me though, for the camera matching stuff, which I just think is absolutely awesome, I'm choosing Astia for those, and then I'm just opening the image up. It's that simple. Choose Astia, open the image, and that's just going to bring me into Photoshop, the normal Photoshop that you would normally use for these things. But then I still have a bit of a problem because I've got some leaves and trees in here, and I don't really want to cut those out. So we're going to use Content Aware Fill, which, if you haven't used it before, is absolutely fantastic. Just take a lasso. I'm going to draw on like this, just around the trees, like so, and around those little pots as well, leaving out everything that I want. Take that back there. And that's selected the area, and then we're going to go up to Edit and then Content Aware Fill, and we're going to see what Content Aware Fill does. And it straight away straight away it takes those things out. So all I do is click on OK for that, deselect, file, save it as a JPEG, save it as whatever it is you want to do, and we're done. And that is how I've been editing my sky images. Well, that's it for this particular video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got an awful lot from it. If you have, then please do leave a like and of course leave a comment. I love to hear from you. If you would like to get some of these sky images to use in your own photos, let me know, and I might actually release a free pack which has got some of these in, some say 5 or 6 of them in, just so you can have a play with stuff. In next week's video, I'll be doing a weekly chat with you, so I'll probably be back there looking this way, talking about the various different things that we have in photography. Until then, thanks very much for coming along. If you haven't done it already, of course, please do hit that subscribe button and the little bell icon at the end and the little all notifications box that comes up, so every time I release a video you'll know. And if you really want to help this channel, and I know some of you out there do, if you really want to help this channel more than anything else, the bestest thing you can do is to tell people about it, is to share these videos around, share the channel around, tell people that, hey, go and subscribe to this thing, because that will help me out more in the long run than absolutely anything else that you can do. Thanks ever so much for watching. It's always a pleasure to come and talk to you and come to make these videos for you. Until next time, don't forget, keep taking those photos.